Hello everybody, welcome to the Ant-Man channel. It is Friday the 31st of July 2015. Wow, has this year flown by. Man, and on a note that it connects to this one, it's amazing how much stuff has gone on in this year, in the last 7 months. For real, I mean, it blows my mind how fundamentally transformed America is compared to what we were yesterday. I'm really, before I get into the news, I just want to say this. I'm really blessed that I didn't grow up in the technological revolution age. I'm glad that I grew up in the days where I was still playing in the mud, playing with G.I. Joes and playing with my friends, my neighbors and whatnot, knowing my neighbors. I'm glad I got to have experienced America before the computer age. I really am, because you have some kind of a frame of reference as to how much we've changed. And that is a gigantic, it is really remarkable technology, you guys, is a blessing. You know, everything that we have, that we enjoy is meant for us to enjoy. It's meant for us to be blessed and to have fun and to be all these things, right? But the moment you start abusing these things, you start to worship them, and then everything around you collapses. And what do we see in America today? People who think that everyone else is defending the freedom for you. It doesn't happen that way. We may be Americans and we may be free, you know what I mean? Wink, wink. But, the fact of the matter is that we need to go back to listening to people like Martin Luther King Jr. Every man must write the charter of his own Emancipation Proclamation. You must be free. It doesn't matter if you live in a free country or whatever you think it is. You must be free. You see what I mean? You must be free from this curse that the world is under. You must be free by the truth, and that is going to be up to you. Now, let's get into this before I keep going on this rant. ChristianPost.com, under the column of U.S., is the article in front of me, was published today at 7:32 a.m. by Stoyan Zamoff, Christian Post reporter. Is America a Christian nation? New poll suggests few Americans view the U.S. as a Christian country. Huh. So the thumbnail I'm going to post is Jonathan Fromm, New York member of Communion and Liberation, carries a cross on the Brooklyn Bridge during the 19th annual Way of the Cross over the Brooklyn Bridge ceremony in New York City. April 18, 2014, the ceremony, hosted yearly on the Christian holy day of Good Friday, includes walking with St. James Cathedral over the Brooklyn Bridge to St. Peter's Church in Manhattan. The event attracts approximately 2,000 people each year. A Lifeway research survey from earlier this week has found that only 19% of respondents consider America to be a Christian nation. Furthermore, more respondents felt the U.S. is a welcoming place for atheists. It's a welcoming place for atheists, and the genius that makes this website, just for some reason, he likes to make it refresh itself. Atheists, then for Muslims. So what it's saying is that it's a welcoming place for atheists, then for Muslims, while only 19% identified America specifically as a Christian nation. Close to 69% said that it is a nation of many religions. Another 9% suggest it is a secular nation. Debate about whether America is a Christian nation will continue, said Scott McConnell, Lifeway Research Vice President. Although most Americans are Christians, they understand a nation founded on principles of religious freedom will be a nation of many faiths. Sorry, this is really an annoying website. They really, but they've got this reporting, and sometimes it's appealing, so hey. But for the most part, it's very annoying how it does. It has too many ads in it, and it refreshes itself way too often. It's really annoying. Anyway, when it comes to welcoming people of different religious faiths, 92% of voters said the U.S. is a welcoming place for Christians, and 87% said the same for Jewish people. Those numbers dropped for atheists, from 67% saying America is a welcoming place for them, and went even lower for Muslims, with only 57% saying the same. I'm not for anybody. I think everybody should be welcome here. But with that said, we should educate people with the rich history of what our heritage is here. Because you can't just come here and make up your own rules or think that you can do whatever you want, because then you're harming our foundation. You know what I mean? You're harming the foundation of what the principles that have held up our country for so long are all about. You can't mess with the foundation, or else the entire house will collapse, right? That's what it is. So let's see. Americans are deeply committed to religious liberty, but they can look at today's culture and see America does not always welcome everyone. McConnell added, welcoming people of all religions means being open to both immigrants of other faiths and citizens who choose to change their beliefs. I'm just saying we should encourage it. We shouldn't give them. I mean, there should be more people that are really like vigilant and hardcore about being proud about being American. I'm not saying that it's all rah 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 and go get in a fight. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying that you should uphold the values of Americans, pastime traditions. We should embrace our values here, and we should try to teach them to everyone and hold firm to those and affirm it in others and encourage others to be that way. But I mean, this isn't, the liberals think that you can have coexistence with all religions and practice it all in the open. But that is not, that just doesn't work in reality, because people fight with one another. It even says it in the Bible, you guys. It even says it in the Bible that, if you let foreigners come in and intermingle with you, and you're all starting to become like tolerant, and then you start adopting their culture and their worshiping and their religions and all that it causes a lot of division. Now, nobody wants that, but that's just the outcome of so many different things coming up against each other. It causes friction. It causes tension. It causes competition. And Christians, we're not libertarians. Let me just remember that. Let me just remind you of that real quick. We're not libertarian. If you want to be libertarian, good for you. That's cool, okay? But I'm not libertarian, and I don't really think you should be either. We're not called to go around fighting with one another. We're called to preach the gospel. The gospel can change people's hearts, even people that want to chop your head off. I've reported on that. People that come from Muslim nations and countries, those people sometimes they come to the knowledge of the truth, and they repent, and they put their faith in Jesus Christ. It's really amazing, because they have so much peer pressure from their family and their culture to not convert or to not question their faith. And as a Christian, I would say, question your faith. Be skeptical. Being skeptical is a good thing, because the more you're a skeptic, the more you're going to come back and say, yeah, this is solid. Building on the foundation, which is the rock, which is our refuge, which is our mighty fortress, is Jesus Christ. He is for sure. He is solid. You will not be ashamed or disappointed if you build on the foundation that He has put there for you, which is when He laid Himself down on the cross for all of us to live a new life and to be ushered into His kingdom one day, where we will be sitting at His table and Him serving us, the King of Kings, serving you and me at His own table. Can you believe how good our God is? You cannot imagine how good God is unless you read the Bible. You cannot make Him up, because it is so far past your searching and your imagination and your everything. You won't even come close to coming up with the God that really exists. It would blow your mind if you really tried to understand Him, because you really can't. He is incomprehensible, but in that we do know Him through His Word, and it is amazing. I am just going to harp on that till the cows come home. I don't care. So, let's see. The survey was based on phone interviews with 1,000 Americans conducted September 19 through the 28th, 2014, and provides a sampling error of plus or minus 3.4 percentage points at the 95% confidence rate. The question of whether America is a Christian nation has been asked throughout the country's history, as CNN pointed out earlier in July, refreshing itself once again. I want to know who puts up this website so I could chew them out for it. Really, I really want to. I'll be like, what is the point of that, dude? Really, what is it? What's the point of that? So on Independence Day, a major Pew Research Center study from May found that although Christians still make up the majority of Americans, they are on a decline in terms of population share, while the religiously unaffiliated are experiencing the fastest rise. I don't care if you call yourself a Christian. If you're hiding in a closet and you're afraid to share your faith, and and you profess to be a Christian, but you don't want to give it to someone else, I don't know about you. And I'm just trying to be as respectful and honest with you as I can right now. I just don't know about you. You're not supposed to be ashamed. You're not supposed to be intimidated or fear anyone or fear anything. We're supposed to uphold Christ as our standard of victory because that's who he is. I think that the word for that is, his name in that is, I think, Jehovah Sidkinu. Somebody please, if you know which one it is, to correct me. Jehovah Sidkinu is, I think, the Lord, our banner of victory, or our standard of victory. We're supposed to be lifting him and exalting him in our lives, unashamed, out in the open. The government is not allowed to tell us that we can't do that. Nobody's allowed to tell you you're not allowed to do that. Let them try to intimidate you. Let them try to make a big deal out of it and see that the Constitution backs us up, that we are in America and that we should exercise our freedom of speech and our liberty, or it will be taken away from you. Just because you want to hide in a closet doesn't mean the boogeyman's going to go away, okay? The bad guys in our country today, the traitors, are always trying to redefine history and reset and repackage it for everyone. And that's why nobody thinks that we're a Christian nation. We were built on a Christian foundation, okay? You cannot deny that. That is a historical fact. Now, if you want to throw out all precedents and you want to just go back to starting all over again, I don't think that we're as smart as the founding fathers in our days. We might like to think we are. We might like to think just because of technology that we're so spiffy and no one can see us and touch us. But people that lived longer, a long time ago, I think were a lot smarter than us, because they weren't distracted with YouTube and Facebook and all this stuff. They were more, they studied so much that, like, really, if you go and you do a study on a guy named William Tyndale, and you see all of the stuff that guy accomplished, man, I wish I had that kind of work ethic, you guys. I'm as conditioned to this society as anybody else, but I'm not with it. I don't go along with the culture. But I will admit, because I've been a sinner most of my life, I've only been a Christian for about 4 years, the fact of the matter is that we're all conditioned to this domesticated, wussy culture that we see today, where you're all supposed to be this Arrested Development mentality yuppie that just agrees with everyone, and heaven forbid if you have any type of conviction and you speak out against anybody, because we all need to get along just to get along, and you're disturbing the peace. And wickedness abounds because of that, because there's no justice. There's no morality because there's no law. You know what I mean? We all are a bunch of thug-worshipping, cop-hating, no respect for authority, cultivating people. And we just all want to test the waters and the boundaries and all that. And, you know, that's a sign of an immature kid. Little kids do that. But if they have parents that care about them, they'll teach them the right way. And the Bible it's very clear that we're supposed to be bringing up the next generation through his word. And that's been highly neglected in our time. I've heard a lot of people when I was growing up say, you don't read the Bible because it might make you go crazy. Or you don't read the Bible because it'll make you not believe in God or whatever. And it's the most baloney nonsense I have ever heard in my life. It is. It's the most baloney thing. This is the source of all truth and comfort and encouragement and life. That is the instruction manual for life. And if you don't have it, then there is no life in you. Let's see. Pew statistics found that Christians fell from 78.4 to 70% of the population between 2007 and 2014, while people of no faith, or the nuns, rose from 16.1 to 22.8% in the same time period, making the second largest group after Christians. Jewish people and Muslims, on the other hand, made up distinct minorities with 1.9 and 0.9 percentages of the population in 2014, respectively. If you guys follow the Vigilant Christian, he just came out with a really nice video. I think I shared it on my Google Plus account, but I want you guys to go check it out. I don't get paid to endorse or to promote Vigilant Christian Mario, but he is right. You need to come out of the closet, Christians. You need to make an occasion to exemplify and and be an example for people and show them the way and lead them to Jesus. And don't be ashamed. Why would you be ashamed of the